Today, we're going to be adding a library to the medieval area, which is going to house 100 of my librarians, allowing me to farm over 7.5 shulker boxes every 20 minutes. And I'm officially updated to the newest version of the game, so I get to play around with shelves. And I've already started to incorporate the shelves into my storage room. I've moved up the hanging signs right here. I've incorporated the shelves right here. I might even put items inside of here, but I think it's a nice little detail to add to the storage room. As for these little guys, I have yet to use these guys anywhere, but I'm working on it. But an interesting thing I do know about the statues is that they do give off a redstone signal, which I think is really cool. This is a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4 in power level. So 4 being the highest, and then working our way slowly down. So we could use this for combinations in the future for some really cool doors. They can also be placed inside of the shelves, which is very neat. Another really cool thing you can put on shelves are banners, which also looks incredible. But if you're really smart, you'll use a shield instead, and you'll put the banners on the shield. That way it frames out a little bit nicer. Just like this. That's a little bit more clean. And now that we have the new shelves, we need to incorporate it into our medieval region and more importantly, into our grand library. And I've already been doing quite a bit of that, incorporating the new shelves into these pillars right here, utilizing the mangrove shelf and the dark oak shelf, I think brings out a lot more detail. Using them for benches and also these like little landing areas right here. And I'm really loving the carpet that I got going on here so far. I've also incorporated it into the balcony area up above, which I think adds just another little level of detail and color to that whole area. And now I'm going to be working on the compass in the center, bringing this carpet over here and this carpet over here into the central area. I'm also going to be moving this stairway back just probably about 3 or 4 blocks. That way it doesn't interfere with the carpet going along here. And then when we get to the compass, I'm actually going to be lowering that down into the ground. I think that will look pretty nice. As for all of the villagers, I would say I've probably got about 80 inside this box and over there as well. And I did try to get the copper golem to get a poppy from the iron golem over here, but I don't exactly know what the percentage of that interaction happening. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to take this guy back. Now, I started this episode with a full shulker box of shelves, and I've just started this project, and I'm already quickly running out of resources, which has me a little bit worried on the amount of resources I'm gonna be dumping into the grand library. But in the end, it's all gonna be worth it. I'm gonna be trading over 7.5 shulker boxes of glass every 20 minutes once this farm is done. In the meantime, I'm gonna be building myself an epic tree farm, so I never have to worry about mangrove again. This is something I never thought I would be building in my world because I care about the stats so much, so I've been very reluctant on making any sort of TNT based tree farm, but I think it's about time that I advance a little bit faster in the world by making this farm. And oh man, am I happy I'm building this thing up because I never have to worry about mangrove logs again. I've been quickly cranking out all of just the logs themselves. You can even strip the logs inside of here. It doesn't utilize TNT duping, which abides by the rules that I have in my world. And it's not even done yet. I'm going to be expanding it over here so we can build ourselves a crimson and warp wood farm as well. But there is one major issue, and it's this guy right here. These are all the propagals that I have, if that's how you say that, which means that we're going to have to make a farm. So I found this very easy and efficient propagal farm from Shulkercraft on YouTube, which will fit very nicely over here at the side of the volcano that utilizes 8 dispensers to dispense bone meal on the propagal in order to maximize our rates. The only weird and funky thing I had to do was get the minecart in between the 2 hoppers and then push them down with a piston. And now with that done, we shouldn't have to worry about saplings anymore. Now just to craft a bunch of TNT and load it into the farm. And this much should be fine for now. Time for the most satisfying part of the entire thing. Watching the warp logs go into the conveyor belt. We'll have to make a fungus farm later on. Nothing is more satisfying than seeing a warp tree go all the way up this conveyor belt right here and get pushed along and then blown up. But I've been putting those tree farms to good use by building the interior of the grand library, utilizing a ton of these guys right here in the ceiling. So you guys can see I've probably placed around over 1,000 smithing tables just for the ceiling alone. It is really cool to see the entire area slowly get fully enclosed from the inside out. I have done a little bit of blending up into this roof right here. I think that this wall right here, we need to start working on that guy next. And just a little bit of a closer look at the upper parts of the walls. I have the honey blocks with frog lights in behind them and the mangrove trap doors in the front that I think add a really nice decorative feel. In the middle, I've incorporated a little bit of the nether gold itself, and then I've just kind of blended on up. So as I'm working out this next wall right here, I'm going to start figuring out exactly what kind of chandeliers I would like to add into the middle portion of the roof. That way I can start lighting things up a bit better. Well, I wasn't planning on adding an owl, but I love the way that this guy turned out. His name is Alistair, and I think he does an absolutely fantastic job keeping an eye on everything going on inside the Grand Library. But I have also capped off the very end of that hallway right there, incorporating a little bit more of the design that we had going on into this wall with the honey blocks and incorporating it over there just to add in a little additional light. I've also used the new copper chains and lanterns going all the way down here, and also used up some of the chiseled bookshelves, which I won't be adding books to. The lecterns being kind of like a dividing pillar between these two bookshelves, I think it turned out pretty freaking awesome. I will be incorporating some more of the chiseled bookshelves just to mix it up a little bit on the way up. And I'm currently working on sealing it off from the rest of the room. In addition, I've been messing around with some of the new shelves when it comes to the other lecterns, because you know what? I don't really use the lectern all that often, and I'm trying to use as many book associated blocks for the Grand Library as I possibly can, because I think that's a little bit of a cool challenge to become a little bit more of a dynamic builder, and I think everything's turning out nice. It's also extremely cool to see it kind of slowly filling up as we go. I want to talk a little bit about why I'm choosing to do 100 of every single villager in my world. I think that this is a great stepping stone to upgrade my infrastructure moving forward so I can take on bigger projects and build them up faster. These 100 librarians are going to be a very valuable source of glass, bookshelves, and lanterns moving forward, not to mention all the name tags I can get my hands on. It also gives me an excuse to build these extravagant builds themed after the villagers, and mathematically doing 100 of every single villager should help me maximize my trade rates per day, because there is one valuable resource that everybody forgets about, and that's your time. Well, I'm truly happy I decided to go with the brick after all. And with the combination of dark oak to complement the brick, I think that this is all really coming together beautifully. The only downside is the amount of logs that I have to go through in order to craft up all of these shelves, and of course use all of the dark oak pillars going all the way up. And I love the fact that we're slowly enclosing this entire area from the outside world, because out here it is pouring rain. And now just to take this wall and carry it going all the way around the library here, I've already started the baseboard. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to hide the redstone lamps. I think they're just going to kind of remain exposed. I honestly don't mind the look of that at all. And unfortunately over here, I ran out of bookshelves, so I will have to start trading with the librarians a little bit more frequently, although I've been running really low on emeralds lately. And the apothecary is probably to blame for that, because I just incorporated 100 brand new clerics inside of here. That way I could trade up tons and tons of lapis, redstone, glowstone, and most importantly right now, the redstone lamp. But earlier today, we built ourselves a crimson farm, a warp farm, and a mangrove farm. And I think it's about time that we upgrade that tree farm. And I've already moved the previous storage room, which used to be right here, so I can incorporate the brand new dark oak and pale oak farm right here, which isn't completed just yet. And I've also rebuilt a bigger storage room right here, because we're going to be farming every single log type with this farm now. This one right on over here for the very large trees, using a flying machine that's going to sweep side to side. And then I'm going to be building an all-purpose farm right here for all of the other wood types. The universal tree farm is now complete, and the cherry blossom saplings are the most satisfying thing ever to watch get crunched down into little squares and get shipped off into the conveyor belt system right over here. But I've only just finished the tree farm, and I've already got enough logs to keep the Grand Library going. Only thing left to do is I just got to get in here, and I got to start placing down and stripping each and every single one of these logs by hand. Oh, and quickly before I forget, let me just swap out the filter. And it's crazy to say that I've almost crafted 6,000 dark oak shelves. But I say that, and looking at this library, I can kind of tell exactly where all of those shelves have gone. And I must admit that dark oak and brick is just such a beautiful combination. It's definitely growing on me for one of my favorite palettes. And now that I've been using this much brick, I know exactly what I'm going to be doing after I get all these 100 librarians figured out. I'm going to have to start working on some masons next. As for the librarians, I am using lecterns, part of the build palette for the walls right here. So I'm thinking that I might actually have to move the librarians up top. And honestly, there's quite a bit of space up here, so I think 33 villagers in each one of these little sections up here should definitely be more than enough room. And I'll have a very gorgeous view to look down upon. Now, I could use the happy gas to move up all of the librarians up there, but I feel like that's going to be a massive pain in the neck, so I think what I will do is I'll set up a cool water vader chamber and just shoot them on up. But before I start dealing with any of those guys behind me, I need to finish up all of these walls and get all of the windows in place. Oh, frick. I don't think I was recording. But now that I am recording, I'm just going to finish up all these walls and tidy up the area. In which I'm very glad I have a redstone lamp farm. Oh my god. Well, the sun is coming through. I've got shaders rolling, and I'm thinking we definitely need to have windows up there to let this light come through because, oh my gosh, this is something special right here. I've been working on these sidewalls slowly but surely, and I'm thinking for these sidewalls, I'm going to be incorporating these smaller little arches into these designs. I don't normally run with shaders on, so this is what it looks like without the shaders. I just thought it was a really cool shot looking at this through a different lens. And I've started to work a little bit more on top of these different floors up top, where I'm going to be distributing all of the new villagers up here, probably 33 in each area. And utilizing the nylium with the brown terracotta, I think is probably one of my favorite color combinations right now for somebody who doesn't normally use red in their palettes. Now I'm just going to incorporate some of the little details. I'm going to make a bunch of mangrove stairs, and I'm going to pillar them up because I think it looks a lot better than planks. Well, that wall is fully done now. All the way around, I'm going to start working on the lower wall just underneath. I started doing a little bit of the details just in this little area right here, and I keep forgetting that bushes exist in Minecraft. Not just regular bushes, but these bushes right here. These guys that you can now find inside the plains biome. I love these. I think these are the perfect little look for this little alcove thing that I've built here in the library. Incorporated some of the books, some more benches. I've got the stairway that's going to go up this way. And now it's time to start working on these walls right here. But I was thinking, since I have brick down here and I've got mangrove up here, I think this middle layer should be more dominantly dark oak with a little bit of brick accents. Just like this. Now I still have some odds and ends that I need to clean up, just like right on over here. But the main concept is in place. I've used the looms, the daylight sensors, created up some nice archways with the redstone lamps in behind it. Utilized lamps as well to light up the area, which I think this area is nicely lit as well. Down here, I just try to incorporate a little bit of some pieces of detail using the large pots, some benches, and incorporating the daylight sensors in the front here as well. Utilizing the ferns for a little pop of color. Next up, I need to figure out what I'm going to be doing with this right here. I already know exactly how I'm going to be zipping this up. And then these back walls, I don't think they're going to be too problematic, but we're getting closer and closer to fully enclosing the build. And then once all of that is done, I'm going to start linking up all of the ceilings here. And then I'm going to be doing the main dome here in the middle. And then chandeliers. What a difference does it make having the domes in place finally? Oh my god. Mind you, there is a little bit of areas that are a little bit sketchy and pretty dark, and there are some spawnable spots up here where I have had creepers and skeletons spawning, so I definitely need to address that, maybe with a little bit more torch spam. But I tell you what, I think that this place is looking absolutely incredible. I'm looking forward to building the chandelier up there. Then I think I'm going to add a chandelier in there, there, and there. I'm not 100% sold on that yet. I know for certain I definitely want to add a chandelier in here. I don't know about these spots just yet. I think it could add to a little bit of the detail of this area, but looking at the owl now, it's looking incredible. I need to help light up some of these walls, obviously. I've got some weird shading there and there. But most importantly, I've got the torch spam going on in here, and it's going to be really, really satisfying slowly removing all these torches as I start detailing. I think maybe right here, I'm going to start doing the globe And then I'm gonna do the balancing scale, the medieval statue right here. And then I'll start working on something right on over here for a statue. And then once the inside is fully detailed and complete, we'll be working on the exterior. It's not gonna look like this when I'm done. Although this does look really cool. And I think this gives me a little bit of inspiration for something to do in the future because I really love all these colors together. But this is just the interior. After, we're gonna have to start building this all out and making the exterior. Just like we did with the Temple of Time, where I built the entire interior here before I built the exterior. So pretty much the exact same thing across the way, except doing the library feels a little bit more refined this time. Speaking about refined, I got the chandelier in place now, and I started building up the globe. Unfortunately, I'm not 100% sure about the tree anymore because I don't really want to take up any of the sight lines in the area, so I'm kind of thinking a lotus instead. But from up here, the chandelier looks absolutely gorgeous. I've added in like hoppers, the mangrove trapdoors, and up top, I even have some candles. I don't know if you guys heard that voice crack, but damn. In this episode, we did get a ton of work done. We went from nothing but a skeleton over to all of this done within a couple weeks span. And none of that would have been possible if I hadn't built the most overpowered tree farm that I could have possibly got my hands on. Because in this episode, I used just shy of 10,000 dark oak shelves. In the next episode, I would love to finish that grand library and add all of the polished details along the way, and more importantly, the lore, much like we've done here in Motham City. So if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.